LEAD, Lake Economic Area Development, the Small Business Development Center, SBDC, and UCF Incubator are also housed here. So Pam, would you like to talk about your building? Would you like to talk about your building for a second?
Thank you everyone for being here this morning. Mega Workplace was created to become a hub for resources so that small businesses can know where to go to get the help and support that you need. So we're very excited that 1 Million Cups is such an integral part of Mega Workplace. We also have, for our small businesses that need a startup place, dedicated desk and virtual offices. So it's an easy way for you to start getting your business address and your office away from the home. And so if you are interested in any of that, please come and talk to Adriana or myself, and we will explain everything to you and how it works. But we also have, just so you know, we have Nan Cobb, our state rep, and her office is here. We have LEAD here, we have UCF Incubator here, and SBDC. And each one of those is here to support you as small businesses. Thank you.
And people can rent this room, right, in the downstairs conference center.
Yes.
So,
Yes. We do have conference rooms and event spaces available for you. So if you need training, workshops to do, it's for professional use. Or if you need to just get with a couple of people and have a conference room, we can have those for rent for a very low fee. Thank you.
okay, so get your phones out because you're going to want to take a picture of these people in the room, so don't forget to go meet with them. Okay, so take a picture of Pam. That's one person. You want to meet with her to see how you can use this building. But we've got John in the red shirt there. He's with the Small Business Development Center, SBDC, so take a picture of John. We've got Brian in the back. He runs the UCF Incubator here in the building. Is LEAD, do we have anybody from LEAD? Jermaine? Take a picture of Jermaine, too. He's with Lake County Government. So you want to take a picture of Jermaine? Is LEAD here? Okay, I don't see LEAD here. You want to get a picture of Marie? Marie is president of Eustis Chamber. Okay, and I'm telling you to take a picture because when you go through your camera roll, you'll go, oh yeah, I got to meet with that person. Okay, how many of you write it down and then the note get lost in your car? Yeah, I find the notes weeks later. I'm like, oh, I look like a real jerk. I didn't get in touch with these people. But if it's in your phone, you won't forget. So, I highly recommend getting with these folks to see how they can help you. If you don't know you need help, that's okay. Just sit down and meet with them and say, so what do you do? How can you help me? And you'll be surprised you'll come up with a lot of ways they can help you once you talk with them. Yeah.
I wasn't here at the last 1 Million Cups when you guys had the panel up here, but I did hear some feedback that there was a lot of questions about who do I go to? Who do I go see? And what does SBDC do? What does UCF do? What does LEAD do? And that's why this building was created, because before all these places, these entities, they all existed, but they were in all different places, and you had to go figure out who to go talk to. These guys work so well together. I mean, they are just, the collaboration that goes on in this building is amazing. So you don't have to have it all figured out, and that takes it off of you. You don't have to say, do I talk to UCF? Do I go talk to this person? Who do I set my appointment up? If you're stuck on who you need to talk to anyone, and they will help steer you in the right direction. That's why this building is unique. We call it a hub, and all these guys work really well together so that you can get the help that you need.
And George, too. This is George. He's right here. He's with
You want to say something, George? I just want to say that my ideal client is the one who has an idea and comes to me first before they set up their LLC, before they get their QuickBooks system. It's just an idea, because then we don't have to clean up messes.
Yes, John, I've been cleaning up my mess. So. My mess is, I don't have a mess anymore. It's pretty good.
No, she doesn't make messes. She cleans them up now.
I'm cleaning them up with my QuickBooks. It's good. It's good. So we've got some sponsors here. We got Happy Hippie Customs right in the back there. All right, thank you for our food. So let's give a round of applause because it's a lot of work. And Foxtail Coffee has been supplying the coffee since we started just over 2 years ago. So if you meet somebody here today that you go, gee, I need to connect with them more, go to Foxtail, have a coffee, and find out what they do, and find out how y'all can maybe collaborate, and maybe you can refer each other. All about relationship building. So what is 1 Million Cups? So this is a national organization. It's put on by the Kauffman Foundation. There are chapters across the U.S. Now, let's see, where's Wendy? Okay, you were saying you went to North Carolina, Wilmington, over last week, right? And you looked up the chapter.
Yes.
2 chapters. Okay, So she took my tip, which was when you're on vacation, look for a 1MC. But they weren't meeting because of the holiday.
Yep.
They weren't meeting. But you did make contact with them. Okay. So she did that. You get 100%.
Yeah, there's tour the place and
Got a tour
all
of
the
the place.
rooms and what they
Okay.
call it, so.
So you get a grade A on that homework assignment. Good job. She put on a holiday week. That's impressive. So I encourage you, when you travel, look up a 1MC chapter. We've got one in Ocala, we've got one in Orlando, we are a chapter, we've got one in South Lake. And the South Lake one just started in July. So if you want to go down there on a Wednesday, but we all meet on Wednesdays about the same time. So it's totally free to go to any chapter, and you don't have to RSVP, just show up. So it's about presentations and not pitches, okay? When somebody presents, they're not selling. Nobody wants to be sold. They're looking for help. And so we're like the therapist. Who's been coming for a while? It's therapeutic, right? We're helping the business owner who's presented. Ellen, you've presented.
I have.
And it's helped you, right?
Oh, tremendously. Sharing my business and my thoughts.
Can you give us a couple of Todd's got it.
Thank you, Todd. Yeah, it's been fantastic to get up in front of folks. You humble yourself somewhat, asking for help for something that you think you're already doing very well at, and recognizing where the group can have their input for things that you might have been through that I haven't considered or thought about, and more to consider, more to think about, more people to meet, more people to work with.
Yeah, thank you. So if you are interested in presenting, and Rose, you've presented too. Yep. Okay, so if you're curious on the experience, talk with these folks who have presented, and your business has elevated, would you say, since you presented?
Totally.
Yeah.
100%.
So people have said that they've experienced a lift after they've presented. So chat with them for a testimonial on that. So new people, now's your time to shine. Give us your name and your company name. Greg's got the mic. Todd's got the mic. Stand up and give us your name and company name.
My name is John Sokol. I own the Great Chicago Fire Brewery in Leesburg. I own WTLE 95.9 FM in Leesburg. A new station has been on the air for 6 months. Back in 2016, I founded the Military Fire Police Support Association, which most people know it as the Warehouse. I stepped down about a month ago and decided to let the board take that over, so I'm no longer their executive director, so I'm finding a lot of time on my hands now.
Great. Well, you can come spend it with us. So, yeah, right. Who else was new? Were you new? We came in at the same time, no? Oh, you're new. Okay, go ahead.
Joshua Cocaine. It actually is pronounced cocaine. It's English, but it's pronounced Colombian. So, real estate. Been in real estate for about 15 years. Just transitioned over to a brand new brokerage here in Sorrento Hills, and where I am kind of ops and taking over expansion into equine facilities, training, large estates, things of that nature, as well as other luxury properties that the brokerage has already been building. So it's to take on a new faucet.
Okay, well, welcome. Your last name is a good conversation starter.
I know. It's a lovely one.
Anybody else? Anybody new? Don't be bashful. All right. Okay, so our homework assignment next week is bring a guest. Okay, we want to fill all the chairs here, so bring a guest next week. So would you like to present? Now that I've given you a little information on 1MC, everybody should say, yes, ma'am. Now get up here, yes. All right, we're going to pass the clipboard. So if you would like to present, come see one of us with the name tags on, the orange and white name tags. We'd love to have you present. It's super easy, 6-minute presentation, you'll get 20 minutes of feedback. So, and it can be about anything. Maybe you're thinking of launching a new product. Maybe you're thinking of starting a business and you work for somebody else right now and you're thinking, oh, I got an idea. We'd love to help you work through some of those thoughts. We've helped a lot of people. So please come see us, and again, it's free to come up and present, and we'll be kind, right guys? We'll be very kind. But you'll get a lot of good ideas and to help you go forward. So our question of the day, thanks to Todd. So you're the captain of a spaceship heading to Mars. What leadership skills ensures the crew makes it there in one piece? That's a great question. That's a good one. It's almost like directing a Thanksgiving conversation at dinner so the table doesn't flip, right? Yes. All right.
One skill is being a good event planner. You need to keep the crew happy and involved and doing fun things on their off time so they don't hurt or kill each other.
Good idea. Yes. Okay.
favorite skill, delegation.
Yeah. Yes.
I like that.
Logistics.
Yeah, because if the fuel's not packed, we'll, like, the thing will crash.
Did you bring the oxygen?
You go to the wrong place.
Right.
You don't end up at Mars.
Any others?
Probably won't eat any because the man are from Mars. We're not going to Venus. So, that was all I had.
You had too much turkey over the holidays. Yes.
Menu, caffeine, and alcohol management.
Oh, yes. Here, say it to the mic so everybody can hear it.
Menu, alcohol, and caffeine management.
From what was his last name?
Anybody else?
Positive reinforcement of the group during the journey, which is going to be very long.
Yes. Yeah, because it's a tight space in the spaceship. Oh, our lady's
Knowing
coming.
each person's strengths and weaknesses, because you have to know your team in order to put them in the right spots.
Yes.
You'll never get to Mars if you don't.
You don't want the non-pilot piloting the ship, right? Yes, I agree there, yes.
Well, I think that word leadership kind of sums it all up, because you got to have a leader of the ship. That's the answer to who needs to be the captain.
Yes. We need some, we can't have too many chefs in the kitchen, then it just doesn't go well. So, all right, very good. All right, so today's format, we have one presenter, Carm, and he is in the back. He is with Re-Envision Alignment Solutions, and he's got 6 minutes to present, and then we're giving him 20 minutes of feedback. So when you give your feedback, please keep it succinct, because we want everybody to have a chance to give feedback. And Carm, you'll be around after, right? So if people have extended ideas they want to share, you can chat with him. So make your list of comments and questions for him as we go. So let's welcome Carm. No time to clap. Arrow on the right.
Thanks, Wendy, and thank you everybody for being here. I've attended now for about 3 or 4 months and heard some great feedback for other individuals. So I'm really excited to be here and listen to what you all have to talk to me about today. So as you're going to see, I'm going to walk you through a little bit around what my need is up front so that you can be thinking about it as I present. The organization, Healthcare Alignment Solutions originally, and now the division is Re-Envision Alignment Solutions. We're an executive coaching firm and leadership coaching firm. And you're going to see in the information I'm going to provide that we've had a dip by changing the platform that we're on in our customers that we're serving. And as a result of that, I'm looking for this organization to help me understand how to build network connections, additional ones, especially with business leaders and business decision makers in the community. In addition to that, you're going to see some information about some changes in what's happened to the website and on my LinkedIn profile when I went ahead and rebranded the company shortly ago. A little bit about me. My experience is I was originally an ICU nurse for 4.5 years in the trauma center in Detroit, and then went on to University of Michigan, received my master's degree in health management and policy, and came out as a healthcare executive and had a 33-year career in health systems across the country, as you'll see. And then, most recently, I transitioned over to become a leadership coach. And the company, as I said, it's a relaunch of an existing company that was created in 2007. And as a result of that, we changed what our focus is to really help leaders to become more effective. Not that they don't know how to lead, but how do you become a more effective leader? Okay? So the mission is pretty simple, right? We're helping leaders excel in their personal and professional growth to really lead their organizations to achieve great success. And our vision is pretty simple. We just want to create a world of extraordinary leaders. Okay? And then finally, our core values, the things that we value the most in our relationships with those that we serve, are things of collaboration, certainly acting with integrity, and then the issue of respecting those that we work with. So you're going to see a journey across country, and this journey is going to lead us to the end here. But at the very beginning, I've already talked about my education, and then the first two places that I worked was actually back. The first place was back where I was an ICU nurse. They hired me as an evening administrator after grad school. I then went on to become a vice president of operations at Huron Valley Sinai Hospital. The most important thing there is that I met my wife, who's here today, Michelle. She's standing back here in the corner. And yeah, come on, they want to see you. And she's the love of my life, and we started our family in that hospital by the birth of our first daughter, Sabrina. I then was recruited to BJC Healthcare down in St. Louis, where I became the president of Barnsteer St. Peter's Hospital. And at that time, I started to learn a lot about what leadership did to affect people and the individuals that work in the organization. Started creating cultural transformations, and as a result of that, we started seeing great results in how we cared for people and the retention of those that we served. In addition to that, we had our second child, Kayla. So, girl in her first hospital, girl in her second hospital. And then I was asked to go over to Missouri Baptist Medical Center, which is a 500-bed tertiary medical center where I served as the president. And you could guess, we had our third child, Ella. At that organization, within 2.5 years of changing the culture, changing the leadership, changing the perspective, we ended up being designated, still today, is the only hospital in St. Louis that's designated as a great place to work. And that's because we changed the way things happen with leadership first, and then really translated that all the way down to those individuals providing care. The other thing about that is it was a cultural transformation, right? It was, what do you do to retain people? And as a result of those changes, within 2.5 years, we reduced the cost of turnover by $3.5 million every year. Every year. That money went back in the investment to care for patients. In 2007, then, I chose to create Healthcare Alignment Solutions. I'll talk about that company in a minute. And my first major client was SSM Healthcare, where I served as the interim president of that organization and also a regional executive for the 8 hospitals there in St. Louis. My second major client was in Colorado, where for 18 months I went back and forth between Colorado and Missouri, and ultimately served as a change agent for the organization, creating a new strategic platform, a new management and leadership structure. We had to change the leadership. They were doing very poorly with engagement of employees. And ultimately, after going through that and helping them start to culturally transform their organization, they asked me to stay on board as their System Chief Strategy Officer, which I did. And then in 2016, went out and became the Chief Strategy Officer of 5 hospitals in a $23 billion healthcare system from the states of Alaska all the way down to Texas. And in that, as the Chief Strategy Officer, I not only led strategy and business development for the 5 hospitals in Northern California, I assisted the system in their cultural transformation as they became a system merging 2 organizations together. And then finally, you'll see this picture, my lovely wife, Michelle, and of our daughter that got married, Sabrina, back in August. And in 2020, we moved here, and then I launched the new company in 2024. Okay? So why is leadership important? Well, what we know is the following, and statistics will show it, studies will show it. Typically, people leave their boss. They don't leave because of the organization. All right? So leadership has a huge impact on the organization and the turnover rate. Secondarily, what you see is very low engagement. People don't feel valued. They feel underappreciated. They don't think that they have a say. They don't think they have input. And as a result of that, they leave. And so some folks say, well, it's turnover, it's no big deal, it's not that big of a cost. Well, in reality, it is. So if you look at the statistics today, what it will tell you is, for a small business, it will cost you between 30 and 50% of that base salary of that employee to replace them. Because remember, you're not just replacing the cost of recruitment. You're replacing the institutional knowledge that they lose. You're replacing the fact that they're starting over as a new teammate. They have to build trust, and that reduces the amount of productivity of your team. And sometimes it takes much longer than you think. So the cost, as you see, for small businesses is between 30 and 50%. And I can tell you, as a healthcare executive that hired expensive executives, you spend the first year's salary for the recruiting company to bring them in. So if you bring in an executive at $225,000, your recruitment cost is $225,000 to bring them in. Okay? So why am I here? Well, in 2007, as I said, I launched Healthcare Alignment Solutions. It's a consulting company. It's a company that would help organizations realign their strategy, their visions, their mission, connect it with their employees, and ultimately get the highest performance out of their organization. Well, I was recommended to go talk to SCORES, an organization that many of you may be aware of. It's a national organization. And what they said was, your company is called Healthcare Alignment Solutions, but you're an executive coach for any type of organization, not just a healthcare organization. So your company is likely going to get a lot of calls about trying to do healthcare leadership transitions instead of leadership transitions for any type of a business, right? So they suggested I rebrand, which I did, and I created a division of Healthcare Alignment Solutions called Re-Envision Alignment Solutions. And again, we were launched to go through what I've deemed to be typically seen organizations, many organizations, they have an accountability belief that people need to be accountable for doing work. And what we've found is that accountability is more aligned with a renter's mentality. I'm kind of renting the space while I'm here working. As long as I do these tasks, then I'll be successful. And that's as far as I go. And what we found is, in the transitions that I've helped organizations make as both a leader and now as an executive coach, is to go to an ownership mentality. Because when you take ownership of an environment, you see a complete change and switch in how that environment functions. So when that change happened, and I relaunched the new website, you'll see what happened to my monthly traffic. My monthly traffic decreased tremendously. And it was a relaunch, so you see I was seeing between 200 and 800 visits to my site per month, and that dropped dramatically with the change. Now, you might say, well, then why'd you have a change? Why don't you go back? Well, they were coming to me because of my consulting practice. And the consulting practice in healthcare to try to consult around strategic planning and business development is very difficult. You need a lot of resources, hundreds of resources, because market analysis, data, it all costs a significant amount of money just to get the platforms to do the analysis. You need teams of people, which I no longer have. So at this point, it's a solo practice, me, and as a result of that, the relaunch has, as you see, tremendously decreased my traffic. So the ask again is to see how you can help me think through building network relationships with businesses outside of healthcare. You might say, well, why don't you just stay in the healthcare space? Well, the challenge with the healthcare space today is, as you are well aware, health systems across the country are merging, right? They're major organizations with 10, 15, 20, up to over 100 hospitals in them. Well, they've made the decision in the industry that they are no longer going with solo coaches. Many of them have hired their own internal coaches for their lower level leadership, their directors, their managers, their supervisors. And then for their executives, they're going with signed contracts of firms that have between 200 and 400 coaches, so that they can find a coach that would fit that scenario. They no longer are going with individual coaches. And though I do have a relationship with an organization that I am getting healthcare referrals from, in general, I need to also look at other businesses outside of that. Okay? So this is my website, my contact information. That QR code will take you to my website. And again, I'm going to flip to the previous slide after a couple pictures are being taken and just show you what my ask is. So thank you very much for letting me present. I look forward to hearing your feedback.
Who's got their first comment, ideas, question?
I'll start. Awesome presentation.
Thank you.
Each week I try to think of a gem that I can share with all of you about success in your business. And 15 minutes ago, before he talked, I had thought about core values. Okay? I'm the manager of the CO Exchange Group for Lake County. There's 14 of us, and we spent 2.5 hours last Tuesday morning at breakfast talking about core values. This is probably the first presentation I've seen in a long time that had mission, it had vision, and it had core values. And that's how you start doing what he's going to help you do.
Thank you. Thanks, John.
So I got a question. How could this be implemented to small businesses?
Yeah.
And so if you can walk through it.
Absolutely. So typically, the way that it works is someone would call me and say, hey, I have a leadership challenge. My challenge may be I'm not necessarily communicating or listening well to my team. Or I'm really challenged. I heard delegation earlier somewhere today as you guys talked about leadership challenges. So what happens is I have tools, 33 years of leadership experience, coupled with a certification in executive coaching, where I have toolboxes that I can now start to share with somebody. So what will happen is somebody will call and say, hey, I'd like to sit down and have a chemistry interview. Find out if you might be the right person to help me with my business. So I'll try to understand what they need. If you're owning a manufacturing firm and you want me to increase the productivity of your machine, I'm not your coach. But if you're saying my leadership is causing turnover, our culture doesn't seem to be healthy, I'm not really managing my team effectively, then we'll sit down and talk about what that looks like. And then we'll design what the plan looks like. Typically, it includes an assessment, which is a third-party assessment. So with the assessment, I'm accredited to use 4 different tools for assessment. We will assess your leadership skills, or whomever you choose to want to go through this process. I can give that for free. It costs me like $350, $375. And it will provide a portfolio for you to see where you as a leader, compared to 52 years of leaders taking this assessment, and where the standard is of effective leadership. And then we design a plan, we agree on a pricing model. I don't have pricing up here because I scale it towards the business. If you're a small business with revenues of $250 and you're the CEO, it would be a certain price. If you want it for one of your vice presidents, it would be lower. I recently just finished with somebody who is a senior executive in a $26 billion company. Their pricing for that senior executive was much higher than someone that would be a small business owner. So we would scale it towards what you can afford. And typically then my pricing model is 50% up front, 25% through halfway through, the last 25% if you're happy with the results.
I got a follow-up question. In regards to that assessment, is part of that aspect of assessing the actual employees?
Yeah. Great follow-up. So the answer is yes. The tool is designed to get your input about how you believe you lead in 12 leadership behaviors. And then we look for 3 individuals above your level of responsibility to provide the same feedback, 3 individuals that would be peers, and 6 individuals that report into your position. So now you get a view of how do I think I show up compared to how people say you actually show up. And sometimes the results are stark. Where you think you're a great communicator or motivator. You think you know how to create engagement. You think you're a great listener. And it shows up in your results. And the reality is that you're a power-based, not you, but someone you may know, could be a power-based command and control leader, and somebody, instead of somebody who motivates, engages, and inspires, by first asking and listening before you act. And that's what I learned throughout my career, is that the command and control style that might have worked years ago, or even decades ago, doesn't work in today's industry. So how do you create an environment that engages people to perform at their highest level in which they feel valued for the work that they do, instead of feeling I'm here to be accountable for a task and to get it done, and once I get it done, I've accomplished what I'm supposed to do and I'm good. So
So-
does that help? Yes.
So my question is, how do you communicate to your customers that you were successful?
Yeah, usually it's through them having that chemistry interview where we talk about the things that I've done and how it's been successful with others that I've worked with. On my website, it really doesn't talk a lot about the success that I've had in both my professional career or in helping others, other than I've got 5 or 6 reviews on there from people that I have coached over the last 3 years that have talked about how it's transformed them and their organizations. So that's probably the best way.
Do you monetize it at all?
Well, as I said, the one that I led in Missouri Baptist, it was a $3.5 million reduction in turnover cost per year. That's my monetization today. But I have not gone back in organizations and asked them to calculate, because typically I'm working with a single leader inside large corporations right now, and I don't know how they would monetize that for the divisions that they're leading. But it's a good question for me to start to explore.
You know, I think I'm a numbers guy, so,
Yeah.
you know, when you take a look at spending $500,000 on marketing, what did I get for it?
Yeah.
When I spent $150,000 with you on leadership, excellence, what do I get?
Yeah.
How does it translate to my bottom line?
Yeah, I think it's something for me to think about how I can start to talk to some of the clients that I've had and see what they could do
Yep.
to help me understand how it's
Because obviously
impacted them.
you've been successful with a lot of people, and somebody along the line figured out the dollar on that thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Right under
Especially, you know,
Someone.
what's interesting about that is about 45% of the clients I work with are typically 6-month engagements.
Mhm.
They sign up for another 6 months at the same cost.
And you share that with prospective clients.
Hey, Heather with Lake County Social Scene. You said that your ask is how to improve your website and LinkedIn traffic so that you can build exposure and expand your client base.
Yes.
So you've rebranded
I have.
and you've refocused your content on your overall diverse
That's correct.
instead of just segmented with the niche of healthcare.
That's correct.
And on LinkedIn, because that's a great new expansion, what kind of content are you putting on there? Are you putting video content on there? Are you putting just static posts on there? And when you post on there, is there any ask of the community? Are you asking them their advice or their opinion or what their struggle is?
This is where your insight will be helpful, because I am not posting right now. And I understood that on places like LinkedIn, they're saying this is not a sales site. This is a site in which you connect, and it's a networking site. So I'm struggling to figure out what that content looks like that is not sales focused, but really inspiring people to respond to the posts, to talk about what I can do of value and help others. So I'm struggling with that right now. My challenge
But
is
you're an
that
expert.
others have said, you know, go out and spend some money, get somebody to help write this for you. And that's my challenge right now. I just don't have the capital to do that.
You're an expert, you're an educator. That's the content that you should be providing to them, right? So the first bit of content you give them is a taste, right? A 2-minute conversation about your knowledge.
Okay.
That's what you're going to do. You're going to
Okay.
solve one of their problems in that 2-minute space.
Got it.
Find a simple problem that most companies have, and then you're going to talk to them, talk to the camera as if you're talking to them, and you're going to solve their problem in that 2 minutes.
Got it.
And then
that's-
when they have a bigger problem, who do they want to come to? They want to come to the person that gave them. You already provided their value. Now they want to repay you by coming to visit you again.
Beautiful. And I have those videos on my website, they're just not on LinkedIn. And then my website, of course, is connected to my LinkedIn profile, but I have not done that on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and
so-
snip those videos that you already have, repurpose that. Grab the best 2 minutes of that video, grab the best 3 seconds of that video and put it in the very front. And then the next 2 minutes of that conversation.
Fantastic.
Definitely
Thank you.
do that.
Yeah.
Jermaine, Workforce Development Specialist for Lake County, so I got the insight on this. one common thread I see across every industry is generational gap understanding. And you can lead into that as a topic that anybody listens to, because like baby boomers' mindset of work compared to a Gen Zer are complete opposites.
Yes.
If you can help them challenge that and between each generation and work together, I think we gain traction that way.
Fantastic. And that, actually, a number of my clients talk to me about that, because where they're struggling seems to be in the area of they're used to leading a workforce now that is changing over. So they typically lead the same way. Where today's workforce, at least what I've found across my clients across the country, is they want to know the why they're being asked to do something. And once they know the why, they'll dedicate themselves to doing it. But until then, if it's just, I don't have time to tell you the why, could you just get it done for me? You've lost them. And that change in their thought processes about how they have to lead becomes critically important to them. Thank you.
I would think that you're doing a culture change in an organization.
That's correct.
I would think that from prospective customers' view, that long-term relationships with prior clients would be extremely valuable to new clients in terms of seeing what you've done over not just 6 months, but 2 years, 3 years, and 5 years. Do you do any of that?
I have not yet.
So I've got one for you.
Yes.
Todd Ellie, neighbors of Lake Eustis. Your business name doesn't tell me what you do immediately.
Right.
If I look around the room, Secure Roofing, Love My Home Water Solutions, HR Office Savers, it says in their name what they do. And if I have to spend extra time to figure out what you do, I mean, your services are clearly worth it. You're really good at what you do. But if people are just scrolling through, I don't know if that's dental alignment, if that's tire alignment. I mean, it's a great business. I'm just saying. But the quick version of it is, what does he do? If you can now engage people of, you know, what do I do, and get them to dive in, you're going to get some traction. But on a quick Google search, website hit, scrolling by, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and that's why we actually took and put executive and experiential coaching underneath the name, because as I started to search for names, there are so many coaching companies out there. Most of those names right now, I was unable to, I literally went through about a day of just searching names and just kept coming up with everything that said coaching that was very similar. So I went with this name and then put executive and experiential coaching, which again, I can increase the font, but to your point, it's not going to draw somebody's eye. It doesn't connote coaching.
I mean, the days when people started their business name with AAA to be on the front of the phone book, you know, we're not there anymore.
Yeah.
To Jermaine's point of where'd he go? But, the generational gap now, it's different, and it's got to be, I don't want to say stupid simple, but it really needs to be something people grab immediately and understand.
It's
Just like
so,
and you know, it's disappointing to me to have clients come into my office and I say, where did you get the name for your LLC? Well, it's the first initials of my first daughter, my second daughter, my third daughter. You know, it has to have some relevance to what you do, because they're going to click and they're going to click and they're going to go.
Beautiful, thank you.
I got a couple.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say ChatGPT could give you ideas for the name. But have you networked with HR professionals and got involved with this HR?
I haven't outside of the healthcare industry.
Okay, that could be
And
something you can add.
that's what I'm looking for, is those connections.
Winston with Coffee and Conversation Collective. I have an idea for something that you could put on LinkedIn or your website. Is, do you have favorite books you could talk about, such as like The Slight Edge? What are your favorite books? Well, a video of that to get your clients' juices flowing before they call you. Maybe you have a suggestion for them.
Yeah, absolutely. There's one that I really believe in. It's called Letting Go. And it's a challenge that most leaders struggle with, because they want to control everything that's outside of their control. And they spend more time focused on the control issue than letting go and focusing on those things they can control. And Letting Go by David Hawking, who's an MD, is probably one of the best books that I've read that help you to figure out how to really lead differently. So thank you for the suggestion.
Alan Bernstein, HR Office Savers. So like Wendy said, there are different groups that you can think about getting in front of. One of them is the SHRM group. There's a state council in Florida. They have 27 chapters across the state. If you don't already, I recommend you create some type of presentation, some learning, some teaching, something where you can come across as a keynote speaker or some level of presentation that we can get you in front of different local state chapters, whether it's HR groups or real estate or healthcare, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of organizations that you can continue to create your expertise in front of them with a training or a learning. Okay. After all, it's what you do in creating that. I think going along with the LinkedIn piece, you thought about or maybe consider blog posts. You can do your LinkedIn posts that are not selling, hi, hire me, this is what I do, but you can write as an expert, you can video as an expert, and LinkedIn allows Facebook, Insta, all of those allow for tons of posting on that with a view my services link. You may have to pay a premium for that through LinkedIn, but that could be really helpful to link back to your website and continue to use YouTube and connect back to your website. There's an expert to your right named Wendy Taylor that does that stuff awesomely, that can help you as well as you think about whatever your financial investment or time investment or what that looks like.
Okay, and
good luck.
Organization again is?
Which one?
Sure.
SHRM, S-H-R-M, Society for Human Resource Management. It's an international HR organization within the state of Florida, or any state for that matter. There are affiliate state councils that oversee local county-based chapters that have attendance from 30 to 100 people, and then there's state conferences and national conferences, and that's just HR.
Yeah.
I mean, your healthcare, you probably know a boatload of them through healthcare too, and why not leverage that expertise, which you already have, and continue that through?
Yeah, and like I said, in the healthcare space, I'm just up against this wall right now that we're finding that they're not really willing to go with individual coaches anymore. They sign these very large contracts. So that's why I'm veering. I know someone came about a month ago, I think, and said, I need to be, I would love to be introduced to healthcare organizations because they had leadership development, and those folks are all going with large platform companies for that work now instead of smaller agencies. I've found.
Can I have one more? I'm sorry, excuse me. Go ahead. So this is what I learned when I built my business, similar to yours,
is I first wanted to get in with the folks that would hire me. And you quickly realize that they may not hire you, but they know people that may hire you.
Okay.
If you think more broadly, then healthcare people won't hire me, but healthcare people have spouses, siblings, other businesses, networking groups. Some of them go to chambers, some of them go to they're all over. Okay. So if you think about it more from promoting your business as a business into those areas that will allow you to express training and teaching and learning, and a lot of us start that way and build it from there. That could be a way for you to continue that without focusing on the industry client, but rather the business you do to get more broad.
That's very helpful.
Good luck.
Okay, last two, Craig, and then last name Cocaine. I'm sorry, I'm not remembering your
we'll remember that forever.
It's Josh. Well,
Josh. Okay.
Okay, I got a couple things. Regarding LinkedIn traffic and website, we are going into the age of, and you guys can, marketing people over there can let me know on this, but we are going into the world of AIEO instead of SEO. Okay. And what AIEO is having a phenomenal website with all sorts of content on there that's relevant to your business, and then being able to be on all the different sites like LinkedIn for you especially, and then Facebook, Instagram, and just posting different things, and AI will, and then make sure that content is really, really dedicated to what you want to talk about and consult with, and AI is going to pick that up. Okay. So the age of SEO is going down the drain, and now the AIEO is coming around.
Thank you.
That's the first thing. And then the second thing with LinkedIn is that I'm all about collaboration, and your best asset is your competition in your industry, in anybody's industry. And what that is you can glean a lot of information from your peers. They may be, let's say you have a lot of people that you probably know in the healthcare world. Well, somebody just stated something to this fact, Alan, you did, in regards to now that you're taking it to a different level of marketing to smaller businesses and away from the healthcare. There's a lot of businesses that need your services And that would be a great way, because then you start posting stuff to your peers on LinkedIn, you will see what happens. When you put in things like that, they're gonna say, wow, I need to get in touch with him. And another thing is that this day and age, organic aspect of everything in life is big, especially with the millennial Z's and the X or Y's. They are looking at authenticity, and they are no longer want to be this, rat race where they work 65 years of their life for a company, and then they say this retirement, and then be able to now they don't have the ability because they're not healthy anymore. So they're really looking at, hey, what is this purposeful meaning of what I'm doing to support my family, but I want it to count. So in regards to your, and I agree with, Todd. I agree with him in regards to you need to really change that Re-Envision, because it could be in the holistic world. We don't know what that is, but I think you should have something of like the word organic in your business consulting or what have you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and last person here, Josh.
Just a thought, because I know that small businesses, not just small to medium-sized business, would be a great target area for you. And there's two people in most business owners' lives that know a lot about what's going on with their company, and that's one's their bartender, and the second is their CPA. And CPAs of high-level firms that are respected, not just average, not walk, no shade from, just but you should be looking to network, and some of these top CPA firms should know about your services, because they're going over these figures with these top people, and they're identifying problems. And you may be that tool that CPA gets a feather in their cap with that client. It's a friend of mine, friend of ours, mafia style help. So just a thought.
Fantastic. Thanks, Josh. Thank you all very much. I so greatly appreciate it.
So Carmel will be here to extra comments. So we're going to do a lightning round here of community announcements, because it's 10:05 and we all have to get going and stuff. So community announcements. What's happening in the next week? And if your event has already been mentioned, please don't repeat it. Okay? Yes.
Toastmasters, for those of you who want to speak better, develop better leadership skills, and better listening skills also. Monday night at 5:30 at the Eustis Chamber of Commerce, and in Leesburg, we're meeting at the Leesburg Arts Center at 9 o'clock. The meeting starts at 9:15 to 10:15 on Tuesdays.
Hello, Arlene, Happy Hippie Customs. My shop is 11 North Grove, straight across from City Hall. Every Tuesday we have an Open Table Tuesday, so it's a free community meal. Absolutely anybody in need of community food, whatever. We also have a dry pantry, so if you'd like to get involved, just let me know. If you want to eat, come stop by and community.
Thanks. I think Marie's got some things.
Nikki, did you want to go first?
You can go today.
Okay. Speaking for the city, Friday night is First Friday downtown, so need an opportunity to just walk around and see what's going on as far as vendors, etc., music, how we're in good shape. The community's in good shape. Next week is let me think. Thursday. We're having an open house next Thursday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So it's a drop-in. Anytime you want to drop in, we'll have snacks and some beverages and probably some door prizes at the end of the day. But you don't have to stay all day. Go ahead and get a ticket, but you'll be in the drawing. But we would just like to see our business community come out and just stop in and say hi.
So we shouldn't plan to park it for 12 hours at your office.
No. I don't even think I'm going to be there. All right, that's it.
Thank you. Greg, Nikki's got some.
Okay, I thought you were going to do mine. That's fine. So you can go ahead. So tonight is the Fresh Market at Farron. We are here tonight, next week, and then the 17th. We are taking a 2-week break for Christmas and New Year's. So please remember that. And to also come back in January to make sure it's still going good. I can't stress this enough. I know it's a little bit longer than my 20 seconds, but we really need the community support right now. big time. We have a meeting with the city next week for some issues. So please come out and support, or we're not going to be able to continue this. Okay? So please spread the word. Thank you. Oh, it's from 5 to 8. Sorry.
I'm going to plug Million Cups. Please, everybody, like our Facebook page, share it with everybody, and invite others. And do remember, for all you new people, that this is happening across the nation. So if you have friends and family in other states that have businesses, they are able to attend in their local chapter. So share it with them. So, but please, first thing is go like our business page for Facebook, Million Cups Eustace, okay?
I forgot. There will be a Winterfest parade. It's free to participate. It's run through the city. If you want to put a float in, if you want to walk, it is on the 20th of December. It's an evening parade, so you could be lit up, walk down the street. Not literally, but you know what I'm saying. And so the applications, it's through the city rec department. It's a great way to advertise and participate in your community. And then we also have our George Fest applications for the parade that are out now. So if you're interested, you can start planning early for the parade.
And Marie, for those that are new to the area, the George Fest parade's in January or February?
February 28th. It's the last Saturday in February this year. So get involved.
Thank you. All right. Well, do you have one?
Well,
kind of maybe sort of roundabout.
I just want to challenge all of you to figure out what your core values are. Okay, that's the most important thing. And from the core values come the mission statement. And there's a young lady that visits us regularly. You can call any of her 22 employees at any time, and they can give them all for you like that. And she consistently generates 400% of the industry bottom line as a result of what she does.
Well, John, I can help with that.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Homework assignment: bring a guest next week, and then let's do a photo. So come right up and we'll do a photo. Thank you.